Hello friends, I'm Hardik Patel. Welcome back to Django tutorial. In last video we learned about class based views, and also I just said that you just try to add polls yourself, like adding the new poll, editing the existing poll, right? So those kind of things I just said that you should do yourself. But today in this video I'm going to show the solution, so you can if you had any problem you can solve it, right? So there are many ways to do that, but I wanted to do something a little bit complex but in a simple way. So like two models forms into the one HTML page. So we always see that in admin panel of Django itself, they are rendering multiple forms in the single form, single HTML. So same thing I am going to do here in this video. Okay, so actually I have done already that. I am just going to explain one by one, as this is little bit larger. Okay, so what we wanted to do, let me show first the HTML. So this is the HTML where we were seeing that list of polls. This is already there as it is, just change little bit layout to add the actions. Like if you want to see the details of this poll, then you just click on details page, then edit for editing, delete for deleting. Okay, and what is your favorite color? So let's see what is happening here. So look at this, three options are available, right? But if I want to change, then what do we need to do? Just I will click on edit, and then these three options are available, even I can change the question also. Okay, so if I instead of green I just do blue, I just need to change this name, add to update. Okay, so yeah, what is happening? I guess something is wrong. Why this CSR middleware token is coming here itself? Okay, let me do one more time here, blue. So there is something wrong, right? So what is that wrong? Actually instead of going post method, it is going get method. So what's wrong there? Let me see. So what was the HTML first of all rendering, that is edit.html. Let me show you first URLs and views. Okay, and then we will solve that problem. So basically what we had previously, that is just listing the polls, looking at the details page, and to do the vote to the poll, right? So these three URLs we already built. Now we are going to build three more, like editing, adding, and deleting existing, right? So look at this. So for all these three URLs I have used the same class, poll view, poll view, poll view, right? So how can I do that? Okay, so let's see that. So first of all, let's understand first URL, like poll then slash add. It will show you the add form, and then you can add and submit the form. It will add the new poll with three choices. Right now I have put on a static number, that is only 3. We can do dynamic later on. So that may be your exercise, you will do that. This is for editing. Just you need to pass the ID after poll, so poll slash ID and then slash edit. Similar to that for delete, poll slash ID slash delete. Okay, so these three URLs are built. Okay, but all these three URLs point to poll view. Okay, so if I go to the poll view, look at this, this is views, this is poll view. Okay, now so as you see, as you saw last time or maybe previous videos, how we were calling the decorators. Like if I wanted to call login required decorator, then I was just writing here @ login required, but that doesn't work in this class based view. So in class based view, if you want to use decorator, then you can use this method decorator, and then inside that you can pass this name of decorator, and if you have multiple decorators, then you can declare the list and then pass that list as an argument to method decorator class. Okay, so same way you can do for all the methods. Okay, so it will run in a sequence, like first login required will be done, then admin HR required. Okay, so this is the things. So one more thing, okay, now view. So what is view? So view is a generic class which is provided by Django. In that case, whenever you call this class from url dot as view, okay, it will check first what is the method, right? And according to that method it will call this method get, post, put or delete. Okay, so according to the method name it will call the function. Now get method will be called in two cases. First, if I am calling for a function form rendering the form for addition and rendering the form for editing. So in both the cases get method will called, right? So we need to check that first. You have to put one argument here, right? Optional, that is id is equal to none. If there is no id, that means you can understand that this call is for adding new, right? So it will go in else and then it will create a blank form and then it will render it to the HTML, and this is new HTML. And if id is provided, then we will call this function and this portion of the code. Okay, now let's understand how it is rendering the form. Okay, so first let's say for example if id is not provided, so let's talk about first adding a new form. Okay, so this is first of all, I think we have already done this. If you don't pass this id is equal to question or something, it's okay, but this is just passing a blank question object. Okay, and pull form is created here. That is very simple as we did last time. This is pull form. I have just created this title as a character field and label is equal to question. Actually this title is a text field in our models, so I just wanted to change the input type into the form, so that's why I have just put here forms.char field and then label is equal to question. So whenever it will render this form into the HTML, label will be like this. But if I don't provide this argument, it will take title as a label. So that's the problem. So they have facility, so we can use that, right? So I have just changed the name label for text, this in choice form as well as in form pull form for title. Okay, so now you can see here both the form, very easy. I haven't done much in this. Here you can see here we have just included title, and in choice form actually we have only two fields, but in this case I have excluded question. So whenever I wanted to add this choice without question, I will add first and then I will assign the question ID which is created onto the choice. Okay, so let me explain that now in the views. Okay, so let's first talk about rendering the form. Okay, so this is pull form. Now second forms, like in choice actually we can have multiple, right? So if you will render one only single choice form, then it will allow you to add only one choice. But for now what I have done here, that is, okay, so there is one mistake. Like let's say for example if you have one poll, if you want to create a poll, so what you will do, you will add the question and then you want to add some choices by default. So let's allow only 3 choices right now. So what we can do here, x in range 3, okay, and here we need to pass us x. Okay, so what it does, this is choice form in which if you pass prefix, that means whatever name parameters are going to render in HTML, it will have one prefix. Let's say for example we have the field is text, right, and maybe we can have multiple text and maybe description. Then what will happen in this case, one, if x is 0, if x is 0, then 0 underscore text will be the name parameter for a first choice. Second will have 1 underscore text and 1 underscore description. Again for third one, 2 underscore text and 2 underscore description. Okay, so according to that here we need to have choice bracket. Yeah, so for all choice form, when we are adding something, we'll have blank instances, right? And this code is for edit form, so I will explain that as well. So this will have three forms now for choices: 0 underscore, 1 underscore, and 2 underscore, right? And all three I have assigned into the context, so we can render it into the HTML. Now what I have done here, that is, if id is not there, that means we are in a form of adding a new poll, so new poll HTML will be rendered. Now let's see the new poll.html. Here it is. I am removing this is not required at all. So yeah, so earlier what we had, that is only normal form dot as underscore table, and still we have that, but for now only poll underscore form dot as a table. And and below that question asking, we can have all the inputs for choices, right? So what we have done, we have just run a for loop on all the choice forms, and we render all the forms as a table. So what it will done, like first that blank question will be have input box, and then for all three choices we'll have three input box in a list, right? So now let's see adding the form. New. Okay, sorry, actually it's add. Yeah, so you can see here, that is question is rendered, that is poll form, and then there are three choice form are there, so choice, choice, choice. Okay, if you will add something, it will add it. Okay, now if I fill all the details and submit the form, what will happen? So it will goes as a post request to the same URL. So the URL is the poll add. Okay, and if you will see the URLs, again poll dot as we will call, and in this case actually method is post, so it will call this function. And now in this case actually we don't have ID, so we don't need to check anything, just need to process the data. So first of all, I have just created context blank, actually that is not required at all. So poll form, so first of all, when we were just rendering the blank form, at that time we were passing instances are blank. Okay, but we were not passing any data to that form, right? So it was just returning the blank form. But in this case, poll form, then same, and then we are passing the request.post, which will have title for question, title for poll. And if you don't pass this, that's okay, you can it is not required at all. Okay, but now choices forms, so same thing which we have done here like this, but this time we are passing this data request.post. And if you have mentioned here prefix string x, so it will automatically understand. That is why this is, and this is the functionality of Django. Okay, so now this will automatically create all three forms. All three forms will be validated, and then you will need to just check that poll form dot is valid and all these are valid. cf dot is valid for cf in these, so this is just checking for all validation. So if all are true, that means it will work. All is a function inbuilt. So now if it is true, it will go under the if condition, otherwise it will just check context, this poll form, and then choice forms will be returned back to HTML, and it will render this with his HTML and context. If it has if it is an error, then it will render it as well, because form contains error tag as well. Okay, so but if it is true, if all the data are valid, then what will happen? So what we are doing here, new poll form dot save, but we are not committing. That means it will not actually store the data into the database. Still it is in an object. in a Python object. Okay, now what we are doing, we are adding create by. Actually we are not passing from the front end, but instead of that we are already logged in, so we know that who is the user, right? So new poll dot created by request dot user, we have assigned that created by, and we can now save that. So when you do save, it will commit. This time it will really change or store the data into the database. Now we are just processing all the forms one by one, like choice form, in choice forms. Now new choice, cf.save commit is equal to false. Why we are doing this again? Because without poll, without foreign key, you cannot submit, because that there we have mentioned already that blank is equal to false or null is equal to false. So we will assign first new poll which we have created as a parent of the choice, and then we will save this, and that time it has this new poll, so that will not occur any error. Okay, so now all the choices will be saved, and then we will redirect to poll list. So that's how post is created. Now what about editing the same? So now let's look at this thing. So when we do this edit poll.html, what we need to do, first we will check that id is there, yes, then only we will render the edit form. Then question, we will check this is shortcut to check that if object is there, then give me, or otherwise return back with 404 error, right? And then question is the model name and whatever the id we are passing, right? And then it will return question. This time we will create the poll form, but in the we will pass the question instance instead of passing this blank question object. But this time we have existing question, so it will return with the data form. It will return the form but filled with data, right? And choices the same. We have just got all the choices using that question object, and then when we are generating a list of forms, instead of using range, what we are doing, for choice in choices, and then instead of using this number, we are using choice.id. Okay, so this prefix will be useful anyway because we need just number, right? And the same number should be in the edit form, so that we will also have like this. Let me check, let me show that. Here it is. This is put method. What we did in post method, same, we use range while we are saving the data, but in this case let me format this. Okay, choice form, this time we are passing request.post, prefix is choices.id, instance is equal to choice, and then choice in question.choice sets.all, right? Now if it will done, the next is the same. You don't need to change anything, right? Because it's all the same. So next, let's see into the browser. Let me create first one, how to install Django. Which OS do you prefer? For development. Okay, tab Windows, Linux or Mac. Okay, this time this is, I am adding the poll is added. Look at this. Now if you will see the detail, you can see all these options. You can see if you click on edit, look at this, question is automatically filled with the data, choices are also in the same order which we have added, right? Now if you change something to here, like let's say for example, instead of Linux I just pushed specific version of Linux, that is Ubuntu. If I click on edit, yeah, so this is the last thing I wanted to explain, but here some error is there, so let's first fix that. Okay, so where is that form first? This is put method, and if I click on edit, it will render edit HTML. So let's go to the edit HTML. Here it is. Okay, so what's wrong in this? Let me change the label of button date. I guess here it is wrong, something. It is not good. Let me refresh. Okay, let me change this to Ubuntu now and update the poll. There is something wrong. What is that? We have just did the poll method equal put CSRF token is there also. Poll form dash table, everything is correct, I guess. Let's see the new. Just difference is only just put instead of post, right? Then it should work. If I change to post, what will happen? It will go to that view into post method, but that will create an error. Okay, so let's see what is the problem. But now I would say that instead of doing something else, we can do like, let's do workaround for now and just find out what's the problem. I will share this code into the GitHub. So maybe in next video I will upload this all the code into GitHub. I will explain how can we upload the project into the GitHub. Okay, so that way you will have all the access to this HTMLs and you can find out what is the problem. Okay, so this is again the exercise for you, and maybe next time I will clear out what was the problem. Okay, so for now what we can do here, instead of just sending a put method, we can do the post method as well, right? Post. But what we can do here in views, like if you pass this, if URL is this, right, poll/8/edit, that means it has an ID. If that has ID, then views must be accepting the ID, so we have to write like this, ID none. If you don't pass ID, that will be okay, because this is optional, right? If you assign none. Now what you can do here, if ID is there, then you just call this self dot put and then request and then ID. Okay, so that way also you can do, and you just need to return that. Okay, so this is workaround actually. Let me show that now is it working or not. Okay, so I am rendering this edit HTML. Now if I click on or change this value Ubuntu and then update the poll, it is updated. Now let's see the detail, is it changed or not. Look at this, now it is Ubuntu is done, right? Okay, now what you need to do, that you just look at that what is the error while we are using put method. I will also look into that and I will get back to you in the next video for that problem, and along with that problem we will upload this source code into the GitHub project public repository. So you will see how to upload the project, as well as you will have access of whole source code, so you can check what is your problem in your project. You can solve that looking at the code. Okay, and I think that's it in this video. So if you have liked this video, please subscribe my channel and please press the bell icon to get notification for my upcoming videos. So that's it. Thank you for watching.